Finding the main idea is an important skill in anyone's reading comprehension. We're going to do an example today with a paragraph and work through how to find the main idea and the main themes as we go. You will be doing this activity on your own when we're finished with the example. We're going to use this paragraph titled The Code Talkers. I'm going to read through the paragraphs and talk about them each as we're finished and what they represent in terms of the main idea. Many people enjoy secret codes. The harder the code, the more some people will try to figure it out. In wartime, codes are especially important. They help armies send news about battles and the size of enemy forces. Neither side wants its code to be broken by the other. So I see a few things in this paragraph. The word code or codes is repeated a few times. Repetition of words sometimes give you a clue to what the themes and main ideas are. There's also a reference to wartime, and this sentence in particular, in wartime codes are especially important, seems to have both of those themes in there. The next paragraph. One very important code was never broken. It was used during World War II by the Americans. It was a spoken code, never written down, and it was developed and used by Navajo Indians. They were called the Navajo Code Talkers. So in this paragraph again, we have a few things that repeat itself from the first paragraph. The reference to war, and also the reference to code and the code talkers. The code talkers in particular reference right back to the title and is an important piece in this paragraph. The next paragraph. The Navajos created the code in their own language. Navajo is hard to learn and only a few people know it. So it was pretty certain that the enemy would not be able to understand the code talkers. In addition, the talkers used code words. They called a submarine an iron fish and a grenade a potato. And if they wanted to spell something, they used code words for letters of the alphabet. For instance, the letter A was ant, or apple, or axe. So in this paragraph here, a few things stick out. There's also the reference to Navajo and the creation of the code, and also a few more references to a war or a battle, two themes that we find throughout the paragraphs. The next paragraph. The code talkers worked mostly in the islands of the Pacific. One or two would be assigned to a battalion of soldiers. They would send messages by field telephone to the code talker in the next battalion, and he would relay the information to his commander. So again, a few things that repeat itself. A battalion of soldiers, messages from a field telephone to another battalion, reference to war, and a reference to the code talker specifically. The last paragraph. The code talkers played an important part in several battles. They helped troops coordinate their movements and attacks. After the war, the U.S. government honored them for what they had accomplished. Theirs was the most successful wartime code ever used. In this paragraph, two important sentences stick out that both reference the codes and the war. These seem to be central themes that are throughout this passage. What we'll do in the next activity is to identify main ideas. What is the main idea of the passage? You can go back and use your reference when you're looking through to see if you see repetitive themes, repetitive words to figure out the main idea. In this case, after the things that we've seen, the main idea would be how the Navajo Code worked during World War II. In the second question, give two quotes from the passage that support the main idea. In this case, two things in this passage that support it. The Navajos created the code in their own language, and the code talkers played an important part in several battles. These two quotes directly support the main idea that we have chosen for this passage. Now it's your turn. Your next assignment is to do just exactly what we did here. You're going to have two different paragraphs and you're going to identify the main idea and support them with two quotes from the passage.